Rise up, show up, do what you came to do. Do it right, do it well, that's the standard we pursue. Boss Conversations, let's go.
Hello, my name is Kyle and welcome to Boss Conversations, where we interview different entrepreneurs in different sectors. And I am so excited to have Charmian Stephens. How are you today?
Hello, I'm doing great. I am super excited to be here.
Awesome. So I actually have a quick story about you. So some people know, some people don't know, but I actually took over a group on Facebook for businesses that's looking to get more promotions or notoriety or just different tips and everything. And so when we took over a few years ago, a lot of people was on that give me type thing. And I can honestly say with assurity, you are the only person that reached out and was like, hey, I just want to help. What can I do to help? So that meant so much. So thank you so much for that.
Wow, that's right. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. So you was the first person I talked to like in person when that happened. So I was like, okay, she seems cool. And so when we became friends on social media, I was like, oh no, she's a worker. She's serious. I like that. I'm with it. I'm with it all. So once again, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's an honor. I often tell people all the time, you can't always be in a position of receiving. You have to be in position to give of yourself, and God will always bless you. And I've lived on that motto, and that's how I operate my business. So that's me. I'm always going to say, hey, what can I do to help?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I know you as an entrepreneur, but for those who do not know you, can you please share just a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. Yes. So I'm Charmian Stephens, known as the Ultimate Entrepreneur. I have a business coaching firm. I have been in business. June will be 13 years that I have been in business full time. Yes. It's definitely an honor. It's a blessing. And I started from being fired from corporate America. And my story is a little unique because my husband, I have the most amazing husband ever. And he told me, he said, you keep working these other people's jobs, you are going to miss God every time. So long story short, he invested in my business. I was able to get started and I haven't looked back. And I've coached thousands of entrepreneurs all across the world. I've held a business seminar for the last 10 years. And now we're getting ready to hold our first business seminar in East Africa in June. So, so it's definitely a blessing. But I absolutely love teaching business owners how to scale and grow their business. That's my passion.
Man, that's absolutely awesome. So shout out to the husband. I have not met him yet, but next time y'all come in Houston, let us know. We're gonna do something. We'll do something.
Absolutely. Yes, we have to.
Absolutely, absolutely. So my first question must be, well, I guess this would be the second question. Most entrepreneurs, because you are a coach, what is something that most entrepreneurs think is a lie, but it's actually true? So like, for example, some think you can just, get online, get an LLC, and all of a sudden you're in business. That's a lie. That's where you start from a paperwork perspective, but that's not how you actually start a business. So what is something that you have come across quite often that most entrepreneurs believe, but it's actually a lie?
Oh my God. The number one thing that I see so many people believe that's just not true is they feel like they can just wake up one morning, roll over and say, hey, I'm going to be a business owner today and I'm going to make six figures tomorrow. And it's not how it works. And I'm
Not at all.
saying it's impossible. No, with God, anything is possible. However, we have to think with our brain and not with leaves out on the street or in the yard. Like, come on, so
Yeah.
that is the biggest misconception. And I'll add another one to it. A lot of people feel that they don't have to put in the work.
Real. That's so real. So putting in the work. So in my opinion, with the different businesses that I've worked with or worked with, a lot of people feel they kind of treat it as more of a hustle than actually an actual business. So one thing that I always preach to my wife is I'm so big on systems. Can you kind of tell everybody what your philosophy is when it comes to systems versus a hustle?
Oh my goodness. So I'll give you, we might not even have enough time. It's just so many systems, but if I had to name a few, definitely a lot of service-based businesses miss the mark because they don't have a CRM system. A lot of them don't have a POS system. They take Cash App for payments, and they just don't understand the magnitude of structuring your business with the proper systems, because you cannot scale without the proper systems in place. And so
Very
that's the thing. Definitely a CRM system, and that's just a customer relationship manager. So it's a place where you house all of your business owners, their email address, their phone numbers, their addresses, their birthdays, how to contact them, what they are working with you on, different workflows. So you want to have for my service-based people, you want to have a CRM system. So I think that's definitely top priority.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of systems and things of that nature, when you talk about the different systems that you need for like emails and collecting phone numbers and things of that nature, if you had to pick one thing, what would be the first thing you would do once you collect the lead? If you're a service-based business or if you are a product-based business, just to kind of pick your brain, what do you think about that?
Well, that's such a great question, because a lot of people get the leads and they let them go dead because they just sit on them. But within 24 to 48 hours, I typically say 24 hours of you getting that lead, you need to nurture them. And what I mean by that is creating a nurture series to where you welcome them and implement a welcome series as well. Hey, I'm not selling you anything right now. I just want us to get to know each other. Hi, I'm Charmian Stephens. This is the name of my company. These are the things that I do. Tell me, what are you here for? What do you like best? What do you want to hear from in these emails? So you start to build that relationship. And after you do that, between maybe 3 to 5 emails, then you can go into what's called a segmentation. And that's segmenting your different clients in different categories. So you may have a person that needs business credit. You may have a person that needs marketing. You may have somebody that needs funding. But the marketing person, if they're excellent at marketing, they don't need to be over here. They need to be over here, where it's funding. They want to get funding, but they're good. So you don't want to put them somewhere that they're good already at. So yeah, it's just making sure that you streamline the proper system. And literally there's tools in place that can let you do that within no time.
Absolutely, there sure is. So you were talking about funding. I know you're being a business coach. A lot of things that I run into from different business owners is lack of funding and how to either put yourself in the best position to receive it or even where to start. Is there something that you could tell some business owners that's going to be watching this where they can maybe start? Maybe not necessarily where to go to get the funding, because I'm sure that's in your course and everything like that, but maybe just where to start, just to get them started on the process of obtaining funding.
Do you want better? I'll tell you where they need to go.
Oh.
Before they go there, your very first step, there's 16 different steps that are required to completely structure the foundation of a business. That includes making sure that you have the right NAICS codes in your foundation, making sure that you have an address that's not tied to a home location or residential, but it's a commercially zoned address, making sure you're registered with the state, making sure that everything matches on all platforms, like having a DUNS number, having an EIN number, and then making sure that the address, the phone number, the email, and the website all match across the board. And then once you do that, a lot of people don't realize, but it's very easy to get funding once you're structured. You can go to the SBA, you can do CDFI funding, you can do a 7 loan. There's also tons of grants available, like ALICE grants, FedEx grants for Black or minority, Fearless Fund. It's so many different opportunities out there. But the number one thing that holds us back is not structuring a business. We're not properly structured. And when that happens, it stops us from getting the funding that we deserve to grow our businesses.
That's true. That's so true. And I'm listening, but I'm also listening to pay attention as well. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I'll get on podcasts and I'll do podcasts, and sometimes they are really just a coaching session. I'm just gonna be completely honest. It's a free coaching session for me.
Right.
So I'm cool with it all.
I tell
So,
people all the time, if people dropping gems, you better pick them up.
listen, all of them, every last bit of them. So, with you being so I know you said that you were married, and I believe you do have some children.
Yes. Whew. But yeah, yes, I have a little small army over here. Like I have, me and my husband have been married. July will be 22 years that we've been married. We
Awesome.
have, yeah, we have 5 children. One of our children passed away actually during the pandemic. Yeah, yeah. She was 3 weeks old. Her story actually went viral for like a whole year. But she died. Well, she was born the day the world shut down, and she died on April 4th,
Mm,
2020. Yeah.
I am so sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, we're actually coming out of that season of, the day that she was born, the day that she passed. But God is good, God is faithful, and He is a healer. So we
Absolutely.
truly believe our daughter is completely healed and whole on the other side. But yeah,
Absolutely.
we have 4 other children here, ranging from ages 20 all the way to age 4.
Okay. Nice. Is this a 4 going on 30 type situation?
Yes, yes, he runs the house. He runs the house. Oh my goodness. So I have 3 boys and my daughter, she's 13. My son is 17. Aiden's 4, Addison's 13, Jeremiah's 17, and AJ's 20. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you do. You absolutely have a little army
Listen,
starting lined up.
it's
Lined
never a
up.
dull moment.
I can only imagine. So, with that being said, because you do have children, we also understand the importance of having a legacy. What does legacy in business to you look like?
Well, that's good. For me, legacy is being able to leave my children something that they can pass on.
Mm,
And that is purpose. That is having a sustainable business that is operational. So a lot of people think of when they're running their business, they're just running a hustle. But if God forbid something happens to me, there needs to be something in place to where somebody can pick up the torch and still run the operation without me.
absolutely.
So that's the type of legacy that I want to leave. And then also making sure that they're aware that they have options. Gone are the days of just saying, I can go get a good job and that's it. Because in this economy, you never know what you're going to get.
You ain't never lied. You are absolutely telling the truth on that one. So, man, that's awesome. That's great advice as well. So, one of the things that you mentioned earlier that you said that you do in your business is you actually help other businesses scale. So, my question would be in that because I'm also interested in your opinion because I'll ask this question. It's one of the things you'll ask questions to 20 different people, you get 20 different answers. So, when you actually help other businesses scale, when they actually do begin to scale, what part of their business do you recognize that actually breaks first?
I was literally saying this in my head as you was saying that. Like, knew what you were going to say. The first thing it breaks is the customer experience. It breaks
Mm,
because there's no
okay.
systems and there's no customer journey in place.
Mm,
Yeah. That's the number one thing that breaks down. And oftentimes it's not by choice. It's just because they're scaling and they're growing at a rapid rate to where they're not understanding that, hey, we still have to go back to the drawing board and audit our business to see, okay, what's missing, what needs to be added. If I wake up in the morning, there's 50 people in my pipeline, what is it that I'm going to do to ensure they get that same customer experience?
understood. So I'm so glad you used the word that I was actually going to ask you next, audit. A lot of different businesses, I'll say, hey, you need to audit your business. And they'd be like, well, what does audit mean? I'm like, well, you really need to go in and make sure everything is on the up and up, make sure everything is in line, make sure your SOPs are intact and everything of that nature. Can you explain just in your words when you say audit your business, especially for those business owners that are looking to scale, what you would consider a proper audit, if that
Yeah.
makes sense?
Yep, absolutely. So the first thing that you want to do is when you go in and audit your business, you want to look at your day to day. What is happening in your business from feedback from clients, POS systems, invoicing, payments that are being made? You want to look through everything to see what's current, where's the gaps, where are the leaks at? And that way you go in and you don't put a Band-Aid on them, you actually fix those leaks. Because what'll happen is that leak will turn into a hole and it'll flood. And then your business is going bananas because you really didn't take the time to go in and audit these different lanes of your business.
Right. Absolutely. So do you believe that there is I want to make sure I say this correctly. Do you believe a lot of businesses don't properly audit their business, or do you think either they don't properly do it, or do you think they wait too late to do it?
A lot of them don't. If you line up 10 businesses, you would probably have 2 to 3 of them that audit their business. And the issue is, it's not that they're not trying, they just don't know. It's lack of knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing I actually explained to my wife. She is actually in the industry of entertainment. So I'm like, I don't think that some people don't do it just because whatever the situation is. I just think they just don't know. And that is, like you said, it's a lack of knowledge type situation. So with that being said, because they don't know, well, let me rephrase it like this. Because you are such a ultimate entrepreneur, a lot of times you have those moments where it's not necessarily always pretty or it's not glamorous. So it's almost like a dark side of the business. So has there ever been a moment to where there was a I ain't gonna say dark, but maybe a not so bright moment to where you had to make a decision, a high stake decision? And how did you really come about making that decision? Like, what was your framework or thought process?
I've had a couple of those moments to where I had to make an executive decision that literally, and I'm going to be completely honest, it had me in a ball crying. Literally, fetal position crying. Because I had to make some really tough decisions. But it was either I make this decision that was really hard, or my business would suffer hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I had to say, okay, we got to make this decision, and it has to be made. And it was from an audit, me just going through my business and realized that it was bleeding, and literally it was about to bleed out. And and so it's hard, but I often say I've been in business almost 13 years. I've seen a lot, a whole lot, and I've endured a whole lot more. But scaling a business from nothing to 6 figures in the first year, by year 5 to 7 figures, and consistently hitting that year after year, it comes with a lot of turmoil, and it comes with a lot of frustration, if I'm being honest. But because you have to hire slowly and fire quickly. Yeah. And I had to learn that because I'm a love everybody, save the world type person. But I had to quickly learn that I cannot let people stay on this ship if they're poking holes in it.
Okay. So my next question would be, because you are a coach's coach, and I can actually say this is the first time we've actually talked at this length, and I can absolutely tell that you are a coach's coach. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I absolutely love it. And you're very much so a teacher. So that's so dope to me. I love teaching. For that entrepreneur that is looking to go to the next level, what would be your advice? If they're looking to go to the next level, hey, coach, I'm looking to go to the next plateau of my business. What is some advice that you can give to them?
That's a really, really great question. So the first thing that I will say is, what problem do you solve? I tell people all the time, when you get ready to scale, I need you to tighten your message. What problem do you solve? And how can you solve it? That's all you need to know. And that's going to get you paid over and over and over and over again. Because if you become a known problem solver in that lane, you're essentially going to be the go-to.
Absolutely.
Somebody's going to always say, hey, go to this person if you need this right here. A lot of times we get so caught up in the jargon of marketing that we miss our clients because they don't know what they're talking about. They don't understand what you're saying. They're just like, okay, they said something, but I really don't understand it. So because I don't understand it, I can't tap into it. I can't connect to it. And if I can't make a connection or an emotional attachment to what's being said, then I can't buy. Studies show that every purchase is made with an emotional choice. No matter what it is, there's an emotional happening, release when we're getting ready to make a purchase. But if there's no attachment, like for example, if you know that you have bad credit and you need your credit repaired, you're embarrassed about it, but you know you need your credit repaired. But you're like, okay, who can I go to that can guarantee that they're going to actually do what they say they're going to do?
Mm-hmm.
So the person that fixes the credit, hey, if you stick and say with me, I can have you ready to purchase a house, purchase a car, receive funding, have a credit score that you're proud of. All of those things are pain points.
Mm-hmm.
But if that person that's a credit repair person doesn't express those pain points, we're not going to be able to relate. So therefore, if we can't relate, we can't buy.
True. Very true. One of the people that I follow and I kind of consider like a digital mentor, I have and I've been telling my wife this, I have a digital circle. So where on my social media, I try to only follow like 6 to 7 people because everything else is just noise, in my opinion.
It is.
It really is. And one of the things he said, if you find a pain point that you can solve for $1, sell it for $2.
There you go.
The simplest things I've ever heard. I was like, yo, I can understand that. I completely understand that. So just like you said, the emotional connect and the pain point, that is definitely right there on point.
Mm-hmm.
One question I've always wanted to ask, if you had to start all the way over, no audience, no money, you had to completely start from scratch, how would you start?
That's good. I would start exactly how I started the first time. I've always said, God forbid if it was all taken away today, I'd go right back out tomorrow and give me 6 months and I'll build it all right back. Because a lot of faith, a lot of prayer, and a lot of listening to God guiding me. But then the practical things are, I'm getting up every day like I'm going to a job. I'm getting up 6 o'clock, getting dressed, getting out the door, and my foot are going to be on the pavement. I'm going into coffee shops. I'm going into restaurants. I'm going everywhere. I'm talking to people. I'm passing out cards. I'm joining the Chamber of Commerce. I'm attending networking events. I am getting my face everywhere. I'm going to take a couple of flights and go out to different cities because I don't believe in just building in one place. Definitely was able to grow by building abroad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's how I would do it. And I would just stay consistent with it. And then I would also have a system in place. So now we're in the world of technology. So when I'm meeting people, hey, scan this QR code. Can you leave me your email address? I just want to make sure I get some information to you. I want to make sure I follow up with you and be very transparent with the people you're networking with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So my last question, and this is a personal question for me anyway. So I heard you say that you're actually from Georgia. So originally we are from Missouri. Me and my wife are from Missouri. We moved to Texas maybe about 3 years ago. Well, 4 years ago now. And my question to you would be, and I'm trying to word this correctly because I know you're a believer just based off some of the answers that you receive or that you said. They say that you're never recognized in your own home. Do you feel like you have received better success outside of where you started originally?
100% yes.
Okay.
100% yes. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, I don't take for granted my hometown. They were definitely pivotal in my growing. But what I noticed was that my hometown realized that I was growing at a rapid rate. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, anytime you grow beyond someone's comfort zone of you, then you have to be subjected to their thoughts and opinions of how far you should go. So in that instance, you have to make a decision to say, am I going to stay here and let my business die out? Or am I going to go ahead and go out and do what thus said the Lord and go feed the masses? Yeah.
Drop mic.
It's a hard process because I even noticed it and God had told me to leave. And what I noticed, I started seeing a decline in my income and I'm like, what is this? And yeah, obedience is better than sacrifice, because at that point, God started drying things up, because he said, I told you, you were no longer accepted in your hometown. You're no longer supposed to be there. You've outgrown the thoughts, the opinions, the mindset, all of that. And now when I go back home, it's like a parade. It's, it's excitement, it's all the things. But what I had to understand was I had to leave, so the comfortable state would be removed. And now you can understand who I really am.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love it. When we left Missouri, we left, I don't think we could have picked a better time. We left in March of 2022. And I'm pretty sure, and I tell my wife and I tell my family this, if we had not have left when we did, we probably would have stayed there. And I probably would have never moved back or moved anywhere. And so everything, like you said, everything you said was so on point. It was so on point, and it's so true. Thank you so much, Miss Charmaine. You have been such a great guest. I really want to tackle so many other things. We're gonna have to do a part 2 on this one,
Absolutely.
because there's some other questions that I really want to ask, but I'm going to respect your time. But please, everybody, like, share, and comment on this podcast. This was such a good podcast, and I really enjoyed myself. I really enjoyed the conversation with Coach Stephens. One day I'm gonna put this out there. I don't know if he does or not, but I'm gonna have to interview your husband too.
He does. He does interviews as well. So yes, you gotta interview him. Just send me an email and I'll get you on his calendar for sure.
Cool. I'm gonna see if I can pull my wife in on one of these interviews as well. Maybe we can do a couple interviews. That would be dope.
Absolutely.
That would be fun. Well, thank you all for watching this Boss Conversation podcast. We will see you on next time. Until then, please do business and do business well. Talk to y'all soon.